This week's Torah portion is called Pekudai, which can be translated either as accountings or as appointments. Moshe appoints Bezalel, Oholiav, and Itamar to oversee the construction of the Mishkan and all of the artifacts. Then Moshe does something radical. He voluntarily gives an accounting of all the treasury that he has amassed from the people. Such accountability was rare in the ancient world, and Torah does not say that God commanded Moshe to give an accounting. Moshe does this voluntarily. According to chapter 38, verse 24, the gold that he collected from the people weighed 29 talents and 730 shekels. In modern weight, that would be over 40,000 troy ounces of gold. In addition to the gold was the silver, which according to chapter 38, verse 25, weighed 100 talents and 1,775 shekels. In modern weight, that would be over 150,000 troy ounces of silver. That's in addition to the copper, fabrics, spices, and oils. The value of the treasury used to build the Mishkan is comparable to the construction costs of a royal palace. In other words, the Mishkan was history's most expensive tent to build by far. As we transition from the theoretical planning of the Mishkan and its artifacts to its actual construction, its reality is impressive beyond our imagination. There's an incredible synergy between the generosity of the people who teach their children to honor both parents and with Moshe, whose integrity is above reproach. The result is the construction of a wonder that had no precedence. We've learned that Moshe was uniquely qualified to lead the people to such a pinnacle in history. One would have thought that such a leadership position would have gone to Aharon, who was Moshe's older brother and also was the firstborn son. As great as Aharon's integrity was, he lacked one characteristic that Moshe had: parental alienation. We have learned that there are 8 signs of parental alienation, and that the first of these signs is a campaign of denigration against a previously loved parent. We also learned in the Torah portion called Shemot that governmental authorities can also cause parental alienation. We saw this in Moshe's case when Paro's daughter rescued him from her father's deadly edict and gave temporary custody of him over to his mother, Yocheved, to act as his wet nurse, which denigrated Yocheved as his biological mother. However, custody was revoked from his parents after he was weaned. Moshe grew up in the governmental household of Paro, alienated from his parents and his entire family. We drew from Dr. Amy Baker's book, Adult Children of Parental Alienation Syndrome, Breaking the Ties That Bind, to identify the long-term effects of parental alienation on Moshe. These include low self-esteem, high risk of divorce in the child's own marriage, and difficulty forming bonds with other people, including their own spouses and children. We saw Moshe struggle with low self-esteem at the burning bush. We also saw Moshe's difficulty forming bonds with his wife and children in the Torah portion called Yitro. Though his father-in-law Yitro reunites him with his estranged wife and children, Moshe sends Yitro away. We will continue to see the long-term impact that parental alienation has had on Moshe. However, Moshe has an amazing ability of turning this trauma into his strength. This is what sets him apart from his older brother Aharon. While both men have high levels of integrity, Moshe has had to overcome parental alienation in his life and turn this trauma into an inspiration for an entire nation. We see this contrast in Aharon's collection of the Trumah offering versus Moshe's collection of the Trumah offering. Aharon's collection of the Trumah offering resulted in the golden calf. Meanwhile, Moshe's collection of the Trumah offering resulted in tons of gold, silver, copper, gems to build the artifacts of the Mishkan itself, plus surplus. Moshe's high level of inspiration is undeniable. Moshe becomes the founding father of a nation whose entire code of laws is based on 2 principles encoded in the 10 Commandments: reconciliation with our alienated Heavenly Father, and honor for our earthly fathers and mothers. Who better to instill these 2 principles into a new nation than a leader who's had to overcome parental alienation in his own life? As it turns out, Moshe goes above and beyond the requirements of a leader who radically inspires a nation. He voluntarily gives an accounting of every shekel that he's collected from the people, and not a single shekel is missing. In this way, he weaves into the fabric of society this ethic that leadership is to serve the people and not the other way around. Though he himself was alienated from his father by an unaccountable government, Moshe goes out of his way to be the opposite kind of leader as the founding father of this nation. This week's Torah portion ends Sefer Shemot, which is the second book of Torah. Next week's Torah portion is called Vayikra, and it will begin a new book of Torah. We will continue to learn our code of laws more intimately. What other offerings are there besides the Trumah? It is customary after finishing a book of Torah to say, Chazak, Chazak, V'nit Chazek.